The gentleman from Iowa, Mr. Nunn, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for the panel for being here today. I'm very happy to see that Chairman Barr is leading out this bill to really protect U.S. consumers, the American-based industry, and ultimately combat what we have seen, a very aggressive buyout by China of U.S. technology that ultimately is going to come back to roost right here in the United States from a national security perspective. So I want to start here with this conversation on, Emily, we served on the National Security Council together. I was before your time, but really talking about, from a counterintelligence threat here, building up a foundation to be successful here. We talk about the entity-based list. I think we can all agree, but I want to ask you from your perspective here, the entity-based list provides us a foundation. As I understand it, really only the Barr bill is doing that at this point. I think there are other bills that could come in here, the EO. Talk to us about the advantages of the entity-based list.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Look, I think where the government has knowledge that there's a particular entity that's acting against our national security interests, we should list them, whether it's a full blocking sanction or other sorts of sanctions. We've got a varied toolbox, and we should think about a range of escalation options within that toolbox, including the full blocking, but perhaps not always the full blocking sanction. The private sector, they want clarity, and one way that you can provide clarity is by listing those specific entities that the U.S. government knows is a problem. And so, while again, I don't think this is the only way to tackle the problem, I do think it's an important part of the overall solution.
I would agree with you. In fact, to speak of clarity, we were proud to lead the Clarity Act, which said specifically what the U.S. government had to do. One of the things we tackle on the NSC was Huawei and what they were bringing into the system. This provided a clear safeguard, a red light, green light option, really, for the federal government to know what technology they could invest in and then which ones were going to be potentially dangerous. I want to speak quickly with you, Mr. Ashu, here. Given your background on the artificial intelligence piece, you've got a background in electronic warfare. I'd like to talk about the critical role that AI is going to play on that. Could you share with us, as an example, where this would be very important, that this technology is something we need to keep home at roost here?
So my specific area of electronic warfare was in the countermeasures space. And it's all about speed of reaction and understanding threats from non-threats. And AI is going to be a game changer in many ways, but that's the one that I'm particularly paying attention to, because we're talking about human lives in planes and other platforms that are going to be dependent on our ability to stay ahead.
As an RC-135 guy myself, I really appreciate your leadership.
Thank you for your service.
Same to you. I think we recognize that. With that, Mr. Chair, I'd actually like to yield my time to Chairman Barr here for a follow-up.